Good morning. How are you? Well, now it's time for social sciences, and we are going to continue with Unit 4, but little by little. First of all, I have to tell you that I changed the planning. So the planning I showed you yesterday to some of you is changed a little bit because we decided to start with an introduction to the Unit 4. Introduction, Unit 4, Contemporary Spain. The 20th century, the Restoration, and then on the next day we are going to go on with the Spanish Civil War. Os cuento, hemos cambiado el planning para empezar un poco con una introducción y recordar lo que hemos visto de antes de empezar con la guerra civil, okay? So, when we go here, this is the unit that we have. Modern Spain, remember, this modern Spain is not modern, it's contemporary. We decided that the book was wrong and it's contemporary era, not modern, okay? So, I made a presentation and I'm going to go through it. So I'm going to show you the presentation and I did some drawings like I do in the whiteboard in the class. So to help you, and I recommend that you stop the video and if you want you can write on your notebook some of the drawings to help you to remember easier, okay? Os cuento, de la presentación hay dibujos como los que hacía yo en la pizarra que os pueden ayudar, visual thinking. Okay, so let's start. Let's going to remember a little bit of this. Vamos a recordar. Aquí pone árbol genealógico de los Borbones, ¿vale? Estábamos, si os acordáis, en Isabel II nos habíamos quedado. We finished in Isabel II that she was very young in 1833. So Spain had another type of queen that was her mother, Maria Cristina, was the regent, la reina regente Maria Cristina, because she was only 3 until she turned 16. And then in 1868, she was forced to leave Spain, and her son is Alfonso XII. If we continue, here is a summary. We have Carlos IV, that was married to Maria Luisa de Parma, that remember was the lover with Godoy. Godoy, that was the one that signed up the Treaty of Fontainebleau with Napoleon. Then the son, that was Fernando VII, El Deseado. He was the one that when he came back, he restored the absolute monarchy. And he was married to Maria Cristina. When he died in 1833, Isabel II was supposed to be the queen, but she was only 3. So Maria Cristina was the regent. And then Alfonso XII also was married to another Maria Cristina, and Alfonso XIII. So this is the Bourbons. Okay? And then we continue. Alfonso XII that was married to Maria Cristina, and then Alfonso XIII, that was married to Victoria Eugenia. And he also had 2 sisters, Maria Teresa and Maria Mercedes. And then we come up to Felipe VI, our king, because Alfonso XIII had a son, Don Juan, que no reinó. Then Juan Carlos I, that was the king that appeared in Spain after Franco, dictator. And then Felipe VI, that is our king now, okay? So this is a little bit of the family tree, okay? So let's go in with a summary of the late 19th century, that is the previous century. Do you remember the 3 Carlist wars? Yes? So there were 3, but the first one, the most important, because Isabel was supposed to be the queen because her father wanted her to be the queen, but remember that in the past, women couldn't be queens. It had to be men. So who was supposed to be the king was his cousin, Carlos. So instead of that, her father made her the queen. And she was a queen at the age of 3 years, but she was too young, so her mother Maria Cristina was the regent. And remember, it was a liberal monarchy because the Carlists were conservatives. But Isabel II and her mother were liberals. And what is the meaning of a liberal monarchy? That they introduced reforms, they reduced the power of the monarchy and the church. And then two other carlist wars happened in the meantime because there were three. And after several years of this liberal monarchy, people forced Isabel II to leave Spain. So this is like the summary, and this is my drawing for you to try to remember a little bit better. Isabel II, liberal monarchy, from the 1833 until 1868, where she was forced to leave Spain. Well, here we have another two things that we didn't study in the previous unit, and they are not really so important, so you don't have to learn them, but I put them here for you to know. After Isabel II left Spain, in 1871, Amadeo Savoy, he was Italian, was the king of Spain, but very little because in 1873, the First Republic was proclaimed. So that means that there were no kings or queens, but it lasted only 1 year. Why? Because Alfonso XII, that remember was Isabel II's son, came back, and that's why it's called the Restoration of Bourbons. Ahora, os lo explico en español. Mirad, esto es un resumen de lo que pasa a finales del siglo XIX. ¿Vale? Nos habíamos quedado con que Isabel II había ganado la guerra carlista. Bueno, ella no, porque solo tenía 3 años, pero ganaron los liberales y su madre reinó hasta que ya fue mayor de edad, que en aquel entonces tenía 16, ¿vale? Bueno, en general, desde el 33 hasta el 68 reina Isabel II, una monarquía liberal. Quiere decir que el poder de la monarquía estaba reducido y el de la Iglesia también, ¿vale? ¿Qué pasa? Que al final la fuerzan a dejar España, se tiene que ir, está triste, deja de ser reina y viene un rey italiano que se llama Amadeo de Saboya. Pero tampoco gusta, así que al final le destituyen como rey y empieza la Primera República. La Primera República solamente dura 1 año, como veis aquí, del 73 al 74. Estas dos cosas no hace falta que os las sepáis, pero está bien que os suene. ¿Por qué? Porque Alfonso XII implanta la restauración de los Borbones, y si algo se restaura es porque antes no había o estaba roto. Entonces, la restauración de los Borbones, ¿por qué? Porque Isabel II, que era también Borbón, se tiene que ir. Entonces, cuando vuelve Alfonso XII, que es en el año 74, habían pasado, fijaros, desde el 68 hasta el 74, ¿cuántos años van? 6 años. 6 años sin Borbones, entre los cuales pues hay un rey extranjero, hay partidos políticos y hay una república, ¿vale? Alfonso XII restaura los Borbones. Let's going to continue. What is the restoration? Alfonso XII was Isabel II's son, and he restored the monarchy. And during this restoration, he was not an absolute monarchy. So there were 2 types of political parties. There were the liberals and the conservatives, okay? 2 political parties. And what did they do? Well, the king had power, but also some decisions were in the party. So it was the beginning of our democracy. 2 parties. And for them not to fight, they decided to take turns in the power. They alternated in the power. What does it mean? That they agreed and they manipulated the elections a little bit, just a little bit. So if for a period there were the liberals, next period there were the conservatives, and so on. I'm going to explain with a picture. Restoration. Alfonso XII was the king from 1874 until 1885. And there were 2 political parties. The conservatives, the liberals, the conservatives and the liberals, they turned in the government, so they took turns to be in the government. Okay, now in Spanish. Vale, ¿qué pasa? ¿Os acordáis? Echan a Isabel II y luego su hijo vuelve a restaurar la monarquía de los Borbones en el año 74. Y desde que él la restaura hasta que muere en el 85, hay dos partidos políticos porque se establece un parlamento, hay una constitución y se organizan muy bien. Mirad, si al principio están los conservadores, luego vienen los liberales y luego otra vez los conservadores y luego otra vez los liberales y así se turnan en el gobierno, hacen elecciones, pero al final salen unos primero, otros después, unos primero, otros después. De cierta manera lo organizan para que cada vez gane uno y todo el mundo contentos. ¿Vale? Es la restauración de una monarquía bastante abierta porque empieza a no ser absoluta, sino que hay partidos políticos que deciden sobre algunas cosas. ¿Vale? Eso pasa a finales del siglo XIX, hasta que muere Alfonso XII en el año 1885. ¿Y qué pasa? When he dies, he had a baby son. Look at this. This is the wife of Alfonso XII, Maria Cristina de Austria. She had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, and he was a baby. This is Alfonso XIII when his father died. Cuando Alfonso XII muere, su hijo Alfonso XIII es un bebé. So what happened? As his father died in 1885, he was too young. The mother, Maria Cristina, was the regent. Another Maria Cristina, yes, as the one that was the regent when Isabel II was too young. So it's the same name, but 2 different women, okay? And he was the king, but the regent was his mother. So here you can see another picture, Maria Cristina and Alfonso XIII, okay? And when he became the real king, when he turned 16, imagine when he turned his 16, he was the king. So in 1902, okay? So what happened here? Mirad, aquí está la reina María Cristina de Austria con sus 3 hijos cuando muere su marido, por eso está de negro, de luto. Alfonso XIII es un bebé, el que murió en el 85 era Alfonso XII, entonces aquí empieza a ser rey Alfonso XIII, pero en realidad es su madre la que reina hasta que él cumple los 16, la reina María Cristina, la regente. Estas son sus 2 hermanas que, como veis, eran mayores, pero ya no podían reinar porque otra vez estaba la ley sálica, aquella que había abolido Fernando VII para que su hija Isabel II reinase. Bueno, pues otra vez estaba, porque ahora las 2 chicas no pueden reinar, tiene que ser el chico. Okay, so this is a visual thinking summary. Alfonso XII dies in 1885, so Alfonso XIII is too young, and the mother, Maria Cristina de Austria, is the regent, until 1902 that Alfonso XIII turned 16, and now, wow, he is the king. Okay, everything understood? What happened with Alfonso XIII? We continue with the system on terms of the political parties, but there are several conflicts. Well, the 2 official political parties that turn in the power are liberals and conservatives, and they continued to take turns in the government, but many problems. Why? Well, the first problem, other parties appeared. Otros partidos aparecen. Which ones? For example, the Socialist Party that already appeared in 1879, but now it takes more strength. It's stronger, so it is in opposition to the liberals and conservatives. More parties. The Catalan and the Basque nationalist parties appeared. And also Republican parties. So these parties are the opposition of liberals and conservatives. What other problems do they have? The strikes, huelgas of workers. So they don't agree with the conditions of working. They work several hours with very little money. So they do strikes. Hacen huelgas. And what other problems does Alfonso XIII have? Well, this is a new colony that we conquered at the end of the 19th century. We conquered Morocco. Conquistamos Marruecos, so it's a new colony, but there are many conflicts because people from there don't agree, of course. So in the Rift, there is the mountain range, una cadena montañosa que se llama el Rift, que está al norte de Marruecos, se produce una guerra, ¿vale? And these are images of this war, and this war continues until later on. So there are conflicts. So let's see a summary of this. Alfonso XIII continúa la alternancia de partidos como con su padre. liberales, conservadores, ¿vale? No hay tantas alternancias, pero es así. They continue to take turns in the government, pero, and these are all problems. The Socialist Party, Nationalist and Catalan and Basque parties, strikes, huelgas, and the Morocco conflicts. All of this makes this weaker, and Alfonso XIII is overwhelmed. Está sobresaturado, no sabe qué hacer. He doesn't know what to do. So what happens? Alfonso XIII was overwhelmed. So he supported a dictator. What did he do? Okay, I cannot go on. Él decide, no puedo más. Y hace que la cúpula militar, el ejército, al mando del general Miguel Primo de Rivera, asuman el mando de España. ¿Cuándo? En el año 1923. In 1923, General Miguel Primo de Rivera became a dictator with the support of Alfonso XIII, con el apoyo de Alfonso XIII. What did he do when he became the Prime Minister of Spain, the dictator? So he did three things. The constitution was suspended, no more political parties, they became illegal, all of them. And the freedom of the press was censored. So established the censorship. Not everybody could say whatever they wanted, so they had to pass through the censors and they didn't want to publish certain ideas. ¿Qué pasa con esta dictadura que es apoyada por Alfonso XIII? Pues que el general Miguel Primo de Rivera suspende la Constitución, hace ilegales a todos los partidos políticos, liberales, conservadores, el PSOE, los republicanos, los nacionalistas, todos ilegales, está prohibido asociarse políticamente y tampoco hay libertad de prensa, hay censores que los libros que se publican, la prensa, etcétera, y lo que se dice por la radio también, tiene que pasar por sus manos para ver si se puede decir o no. ¿Qué pasa? Que al principio muy bien, pero at the end many people, including Alfonso XIII and the army, were against him. Con el paso de los años, la gente pues no le gusta todo esto, incluso al ejército ni al anterior rey. So what happened? Miguel Primo de Rivera resigned, dimitió in 1930. So he resigned. Mirad, hay otro nombre que también se suele llamar Primo de Rivera, que es José Antonio Primo de Rivera. Bueno, este tiene importancia luego con Franco, pero en realidad no son la misma persona. Este es Miguel y este es José Antonio, que era su hijo mayor, ¿vale? Pero el que da la dictadura primera, del 23 al 30, es Miguel Primo de Rivera. So here we have visual thinking. So Alfonso XIII, look at this, he's overwhelmed, he doesn't know what to do with all the conflicts, strikes and so on. He was overwhelmed, agobiado, sobrepasado, so he supported a dictator. This is the symbol of this dictator, Miguel Primo de Rivera. And what did he do? Constitution out, political parties out, and freedom out. So what happened? That he found opposition, encuentra oposición of the army and of the king himself. So, encuentra oposición del ejército y del rey Alfonso XIII. ¿Y qué hace? Pues no tiene más remedio que dimitir. In 1930 he resigned, dimitió, ¿vale? Y luego ya veremos qué es lo que pasa después. So, I hope that you understood a little bit more about this. Now, this is what the book says. The book is a little bit mess, it's a mess. So here it says, the start of the 20th century was the continuation of the Restoration. This is from the previous unit, which began when Alfonso XII became king in 1874. After Isabel II was forced to abandon Spain and Amadeo de Saboya and the First Republic. So the Restoration was from the 1874 until 1923, when Primo de Rivera became dictator. In 1931, the Second Republic. So that's what we learn next day. So after Alfonso XII died, in 1885, Spain was ruled by his wife Maria Cristina until Alfonso XIII turned 16 in 1902. During Alfonso XIII's reign, Spain experienced political and social conflict. The liberals and conservatives continued to take turns in the government. However, sin embargo, other parties opposed them, Republican parties, nationalist parties in Catalonia and País Vasco, and the Socialist Party. Se le oponían al gobierno liberal y conservador que seguía tomando turnos, haciendo turnos en el poder, partidos republicanos, nacionalistas, catalanes y vascos y el Partido Socialista. Los obreros, workers, demanded better working conditions, demandaban mejores condiciones laborales. There were many strikes, muchas huelgas. These were the problems that Alfonso XIII had. And also Spain was involved in military conflict in its new colonies in Morocco. Conflictos militares, la guerra del Rif, que os conté, en Marruecos. So because of these problems, there was a military coup, una cúpula militar, que en 1923, 1923, with Alfonso XIII support, this is very important, con apoyo del rey, la cúpula militar da un golpe de estado y el general Miguel Primo de Rivera establish a dictatorship, establece una dictadura, okay? The constitution was suspended and the king lost most of his power. Entonces el rey pierde la mayoría de sus poderes y pasan, este sería el rey y este es Primo de Rivera, Miguel Primo de Rivera. So Alfonso XIII gives to Miguel Primo de Rivera most of the powers that he had before, but he was overwhelmed, estaba sobresaturado, sobrepasado. So he has all the powers. He also declares illegal all political parties, ¿vale? Ilegaliza todos los partidos políticos, prohíbe que se hagan partidos políticos. And freedom of the press was limited by censorship. La libertad de prensa está muy limitada por la censura. At first, many people supported Primo de Rivera's dictatorship. Mucha gente apoya la dictadura. But later on, opposition from the army and from Alfonso XIII. So Primo de Rivera resigned in 1930. And that's all. Next day we continue with the Second Republic that starts in 1931. So see you soon. If you have any question, ask me.